You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
The heroes are back. Beards talking balls, rapping pink and black. Coming live from the 305, it's official tissue. The Batter Fan, Chris and Dan, weekly rocking with you. We talk Messi, Boosie, Jordy, Lucho, the Fat Four, to Ben Cram, Noah, Ruiz, Fred. What more could you ask for? Tighten up and get ready, listen in on the pod. Solana and X in Espanol, just to even the odds. Breakdowns and gas bagging, join the tribe and just vibe. Free 99, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't hesitate, say what's up, go ahead and come in. No question about it, I'm ready to get hurt again.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
Everybody in the chat, the Herons are back. Welcome to another episode of the Batter Herons podcast. I am your host, Chris Duran, and alongside me is a blank screen. I'm not going to have anybody with me for the show. Maybe a little bit later, we'll see. But this is episode 421, the one after. And this is after a freaking brutal loss against my third favorite team in the MLS, the Charlotte FC 3-0 loss. And guys, I love that you guys are so live in the chat. Honest review saying because as far as we lost, Danny, you're right. Tons of props to Charlotte. Tons of props. I mean, they controlled the whole game. I mean, the game was literally all Charlotte. It was all Charlotte. Hello to One More One Goal. Guys, this was, I mean, guys, I don't know what to tell you here. There's literally nothing positive to talk about today. This was probably, in my opinion, such a disastrous loss. I mean, it's just wild how bad we lost. And this is exactly what I was thinking throughout the whole game. Calazaya saying Mascherano out. Messi, que pena. Like, listen, nobody, I'm telling you right now, guys, nobody's getting Messi of the match or man of the match other than Messi, because even Messi's not man of the match. Am I wrong? This was, and Esteban Dito saying we got humbled, no ifs and buts. And Esteban, I see that sometimes you got a little conflict with the Charlotte people. So for those of you that have some problems with the Charlotte people, I would hide right now because they will come full force. Listen, and I don't listen. Ravank, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. You need to get it out of here. I'm done with the turf excuses. I'm done. This is not acceptable. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear turf excuses. I don't want to hear ref excuses. I don't want to hear temperature excuses. This was an inexcusable game. This was inexcusable. So, Yuri saying sloppy passes all over the place. Soccer Daddy, I understand. And for those of you on in audio, I'm sorry. I'm reading off chats at the same time. Soccer Daddy saying, Chris, you don't know turf is a factor too. Yes, I know. I know that the ball skips a little bit more. It doesn't grab the ball as good. Yes, there were a couple. I'm not going to say a lot, but there were a couple plays where they tried to make long range passes. And because they're playing on turf, it skips. I get it. Okay, I completely understand. But guys, I need you to understand this. These are professional football players that have been playing this sport since they grew out of diapers and started wearing pull-ups. Guys, like, how are we going to keep excusing this? This is another great a message. Salsa Bugis, no identity. Absolutely. Guys, did you guys see Allende on the pitch? I didn't see him. I didn't see Allende anywhere. He was nowhere on the pitch. Guy was a ghost. Okay? Guy was a ghost. So I don't look, it's just Miami King is saying here, Chris, but the turf is shit. No respect for players, not an excuse. Utilities turd is shit. How can it be allowed in the United States? It's a shame. Listen, nobody's saying that it's not acceptable to have turf. Obviously, I think it's great to have actual grass to play on, right? But unfortunately, a lot of these stadiums that we play in, or a couple of them, are going to have turf. And until we make it mandatory, like all the other bigger leagues do, for these teams to have grass to play on, it's never going to change. Esteban Dito, I appreciate it, with the $2 Super Slam.
He's a caca.
That's what I'm going to play for every Super Slam that comes in, if any come in. But much appreciated to you, Esteban Dito, saying, I will not hide it all. I will congratulate them. That's good. That's respectable. Look, every team wins and loses. And it just so happens that we lost. Give me just a second, because I got to do a little something here. I honestly, guys, this was probably one of the most stressful games to watch. And I don't mean stressful in a way where it was stressful because it was such a tight game, a very competitive game. It was stressful in the sense of it's inexcusable how we're playing. It's absolutely inexcusable. This kind of team with these kind of players against this team, it's inexcusable to walk away 3-0 losing. Okay. Shout out to Mez with a $2 Super Slam here.
He's a caca.
And Mez is saying Allende 1v1, miss F him. The Paul statue, Aviles, dumb. I mean, look, I can't really blame Aviles because, like, nobody's playing defense back there. So, of course, he has to haul ass and start pulling jerseys, tripping people. This guy's the Cobra Kai guy from Karate Kid. Sweep the leg. Guys, I mean, all over the pitch, it was just a complete disaster. And it starts from the top. The coach, and we're going to get into it because when we talk about the starting lineup and the players that we had on this roster, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk all about it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the atmosphere. So starting off with the atmosphere, guys, I mean, you guys saw the stadium was filled, and they didn't fill the top part of the bowl. Like, they closed it off, forced everybody to pay for the bottom bowl. I remember when I went last time, and the last time I went, they did sell at the top bowl, and that was a game that Messi was supposedly supposed to play in, and he didn't. So he didn't travel. He wasn't on the bench. So, Enrique saying, no, Chris, no, Toto is a moron. Listen, I understand Toto's a moron, but he's got to fill he's got to fill the quota. He's had all year off. Are you kidding me? He's on overtime now. This is overdrive for him. Double yellows to a red. This is him getting his stuff out of layaway. If you guys go back that far. Vamos IMCF saying we're cooked. Guys, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I told you guys. If you guys expect for Allende to be, listen, if you guys expect Allende to be your striker, you guys are something else. We had no Suarez. You could see the difference without having Suarez on the pitch. You could see it. For as bad as a human being that he is, how he handles stressful situations and competitive, juices flowing on the pitch. Like, he is an incredible player. He creates for this team. And Allende was a joke. Allende starting is a joke. Allende was a joke. And the only time I saw him was in the second half when he did one of his little Allende runs because they finally put him at the right wing. Jack Howard asking, where's Danny? Guys, By the way, I forgot to mention this right here. Hold on, it's that way. I'm usually on the other side. So right here, right, September 13th, that's his birthday. So everybody wish him a happy birthday because it is his 40th birthday. He's finally 40 now. So happy birthday to him. He's out enjoying the time with his family in Central Florida. So happy birthday to Danny, bitch. Happy birthday. I know you're watching. Okay. I haven't gotten us banned yet. I don't know. Yeah. Thank you, Jack. Happy B-Day, mate. So the atmosphere was awesome, especially for like a Charlotte game. They've been on a tear. It was great. Okay. I already kind of went through my general thoughts. My general thoughts are we're completely screwed. This was an embarrassment of a game. This was an embarrassment of a performance out of all these players. I mean, we're going to have to talk about who did great. Okay, look, Leroux, I understand he had 2 chances, but he kicked it directly to the best goalie in the league. And then the other one, he blew it. He blew it almost over the stadium, which that was the play that right before that led to the messy penalty. So like, what does this mean, Leroux? Can anybody tell me what this means? Tell me what this means, guys. What does this mean? Allende had 2 chances. What does that mean? What does it mean when someone has 2 chances and you don't complete them? That means you suck. And with the amount of minutes that Allende plays, it's completely unacceptable, the results that he's providing to us. And that's considering that I was a big supporter, huge fan in the beginning of the season. I was making bets with an Allende goal every game in the beginning. So, yeah, welcome, Mitch. Yeah, I have hair on fatigue too. Like, listen, it's like I said last episode, guys, just wait for me. Like wake me up after everything is done. Wake me up when the playoffs start. Wake me up after the playoffs start. So, general thoughts, I went over that. Right? Let's look over this starting lineup for a second. This embarrassment. I didn't have time to make a fancy schmancy little thing like this. So I'm just gonna plop up this Google one right here, guys. So here we have, for those of you on audio, I'll spell it out for you. We got Ustadi playing goalie, Alba at left back, Frey at right back, and then Falcon making his usual start with Aviles starting in this game. And then you had Segovia playing like a left mid, DePaul playing like a right mid. Well, typically it was really Busquets and Bright playing the double pivot. And then in the middle, in between Segovia and DePaul, was Messi. And then you had Allende as the lone striker. So it's, for those of you watching, it's not as exactly as it looks on the screen right now. So obviously one of the big surprises when it comes to this, and it's not just one, there's been a couple, okay? And if you guys want to chime in the chat, what surprised you out of this starting lineup, you can. First one, off the bat, Allende starting. Why? Why are you starting? Allende, you need to be at the furthest end of the bench that there physically is on Charlotte's away bench. That's number one. Then we have Toto Aviles, who obviously finally got the start. So that was a surprise. So those were 2 surprises to me. Now you think to yourself, well, Chris, why is Allende starting? Let's put somebody else in. That's a great question. You know what comes right behind that? The players that we have available on the bench. I'm going to plop this list right here for you guys. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this looks, right? Gonzalo Lujan, defender, center back. Ryan Saylor, defender, center back. Noah Allen, defender, center back. A goalie, Rocco Rios Novo. Daniel Pinter, which congratulations for getting your first MLS start ever. We just signed you like a day or two ago, literally 5 minutes ago, because we have no other striker on this team. Chelo Weigand, right here, and then Santi Morales, who's a creative player, been living on the bench, which I understand, right? We have so many center mids, like it's ridiculous. So Daniel Pinter is our savior in this whole bench in terms of offense. So you're thinking to yourself, well, Chris, what the hell's happening? Why is our bench like that? That's where I tell you guys that this season is a complete and utter disaster. We have Obando, who is living in a hospital. Apparently, he's still injured. Mike V, no, we didn't win. Okay, no trophies. We didn't even win a participation trophy. Okay, Lawrence saying Fafa was far better to start. Well, Lawrence, guess what? Fafa's another one that's injured. So we got Obando injured, Fafa injured. So then Danny and I were like, oh man, we can't wait to see Baltasar. Guess what, guys? Baltasar's injured too. So we got Baltasar injured, Fafa's injured, Obando's injured, David Ruiz got injured in representing Honduras. And you know what, Galactic? I don't accept this. Obando would be good too. Obando is to be determined at this moment. He scored, I think, a goal against Dallas when we had our whole full-fledged second string team. We just got rid of Ben Krem, so you can't bring him on. I mean, guys, look at where we're sitting right now. Look at all those players I mentioned to you. Silvetti, right? We just signed him or something like that, and something's happening with his. He's nowhere to be found, right? I can't blame him. He just got onto the team. But what about all these other guys? I mean, Reaper, you called it right out. Reaper is saying Miami medical staff making bank. Making bank. And listen, Soccer Daddy, Ben Krem was shit too. But I'm pretty sure he's the only other center midfielder other than that. He played other positions as well, but he was the only center midfielder other than Morales. So there's that for you guys. There's a huge problem. Huge problem. So let's go through the game, right? Because the feel goods happened more or less in the beginning of the game, and maybe a little bit later, there was a couple minutes of feel-good stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, Min saying we missed Taylor. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but we didn't have Messi for 9 games last year, and we won with Taylor and Gressel. Now with Messi, we're looking disheveled right now. I mean, I don't know how else to paint the picture for you guys. And I don't want you guys to think of this as like, well, Chris, you keep looking back at these old players that Inter Miami had. Yes, but we had crazy success last season. We scored more goals last season. We supposedly had a worse defense, and we didn't. And we had guys running around with concrete feet. Shout out to Cringe with the $4.99 Super Slam.
He's a caca.
We sold Campana, Kremaki, Matias Rojas, Taylor, Gressel, Drake. For what? We sold them for a couple patients at Baptist Health Hospital. That's what we did. We got some people that are working at Inter Miami that apparently work for Blue Cross Blue Shield or something like that, because we just needed to restock patients at the local hospital here, guys. The gentleman Wake, thank you so much for the $4.99 Super Slam.
He's a caca.
He says, went to the game tonight for my birthday, drove 2 hours, spent $500 to watch the team get creamed 3-0, and Messi miss a PK. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. Where the F is Baltasar Rodriguez? I don't know, Mike V. We're going to have to send a fridge guy to go look for him. You can't make this stuff up. Let's get into the game because I had some notes. Okay? I got some notes. Took some stuff down. I was looking forward to this game. Okay? So let's walk through it little by little. Okay? First half was just 1-0, right? Charlotte finishes off the half 1-0, but let's go through some details. So, by the way, I just want some of you guys to know, I don't know if you guys logged into your Apple account. Apple is starting to charge $12.99 now, starting October, instead of $9.99 if you have a Apple TV app. So just letting you guys know, because it hit me with that notice. So, and Josh, it's Danny's birthday. So that's why he's not here. He's enjoying it somewhere else, not watching this game, even though he did watch the game. I was talking to him. So one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was the way that the team was structured, as you could see here, was very different than what was actually taking place on the field. So Segovia ended up playing sort of out left. Allende played up top. Messi played a little bit more centrally. Busquets and Bright were playing the double pivot. And Busquets actually at some point dropped back very deep as a center back. So it kind of was like if there was 5 in the back, but in reality, Alba and Frey pushed up so high. So it ended up being like a 3 in the back situation with Alba and Frey pushing up as their wing backs as they should, right? So that's kind of the one thing that I did notice, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I understand why they're doing that, but Allende is a completely worthless up top by himself. Because let's just kind of walk through this, guys. Allende's biggest strength, the one thing that we talk about in his fanny pack, is he likes to make these line-breaking runs, get in behind, and catch people sleeping, and then just go barely being onside and getting a ball that's, over the top, right? When you put him all the way at the top, he's not able to go ahead and make those advancing runs, especially if we can't move the ball up smoothly. So Justin is saying here, I've said it so many times, I'm going to keep saying it, Allende needs to go and sack Mascherano. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't clear earlier this year, then it's crystal clear at this very moment, crystal clear. So going through the game, right, I noticed Avilés spread a little bit right as Ian Frey moved up a little bit, and there was a good attack somewhere around the 6th minute. I'm sure you guys remember, right, where I think Bright made a pass. He made a pass over to, I believe it was to Allende. I'm not sure who led it to Allende, but Allende ended up crossing it over, and Alba, left-footed off the volley, tried to get it in the goal. It was right on the marker. I mean, I thought he was going to get it, but Kalina he's not a bad goalie. He's one of the best in the league. So obviously he was on his P's and Q's at that moment, had an incredible block. Incredible block. That was early in the game, which was fantastic. You start to see, okay, they're starting to make their stride. You have things that are opening up, and it took a little bit for Charlotte to kind of build up and do things. Andy Crims is saying, is Danny still crying after loss of the League's Cup? Where is he? He is in Orlando celebrating his birthday, crying in front of Orlando City. That's what he's doing. Esteban Dito again, much appreciated for the super duper slam here.
He's a caca.
Inter Miami got rid of footballers who were the backbone of this club, and now it shows we are a collective of chumps with a laughable defense. Hashtag sad. I mean, look, I don't disagree. I don't agree 100%, but majoritarily, I guess, I don't know if that's a word, I do agree with that. Because I mean, I don't want to say backbone. Like, what's backbone, right? Like footballers who were the backbone. I feel like there was a couple players that maybe you can be able to kind of look at and say we should have kept some of those players. But like if we're building up and we're starting to put our big boy pants on, we got to bring some big boy results. This is unacceptable to have this set of players and then just not have cohesiveness. Like you could clearly see that throughout the game. I'm gonna give you
He's a caca.
and I'll go ahead and I'll give you a Solana drop. Duck Fung with a $10 super slam says Messi looks like a has-been. Missing sitters versus Vancouver and CCC and Seattle in Leagues Cup. His ego shows in team choices. Inter Miami owe him, but when games matter, he hasn't delivered. It is what it is. Mr. Spider Pig, this 2025 team is the worst in Miami history. It's pretty close. I don't know if in Miami history, but I would say considering the players that we have, it's uncomfortable to sit with these results. With this kind of team, it's uncomfortable. If you tell me 2021, 2022, we have results like this with that team, it's acceptable. You learn to you build and you learn from it, and you try to work things around and you try to look and see what other players can add a little bit more. But with these kind of players, these results are just not acceptable. Not acceptable. I hope you're not saying that I'm smoking, Lamar. Am I smoking? Am I smoking? I don't know. Or K-San is saying I'm smoking too? Am I wrong here, guys? Am I wrong? Rob, yes. Ian Frey and Bright didn't play well. Listen, I said it in the beginning, guys. Nobody played well. Nobody played well. Why didn't nobody play well? So let's get back to the game, okay? So after that opportunity that we had around like the 6th or 7th minute, okay? So I took down some notes here. On the 20th minute, we're trying to get out of our half, and there was a play that I noticed. It was a pass from Alba to Allende. It was a terrible touch by Allende, and it literally gave the ball back to Charlotte for them to go ahead and surge and start another attack, right? First 20 minutes, I just want to make this extremely abundantly clear. Allende was a ghost. As an attacker, as an attacking forward, literally as the center forward, you were a ghost, Allende. This is like your sole opportunity. You literally have no one stopping you in terms of being the guy. And the person that's going to relieve you off the bench is a guy that just signed a contract from the MLS Next team, and he's probably not going to get a lot of minutes. So the fact that you came on as a starter in the position that I imagine that you would love to capitalize on, and you don't, pretty tough. Okay. And Cringe with another super slam here.
He's a caca.
$4.99 says, are we even making it to the playoffs at this point? Listen, I told you guys in the last episode, I wouldn't be surprised if we drop down towards the latter 9 of the teams in the East. So I'll tell you know what? There's another play that I want to mention as well during the game. Huge steal by Falcon around like the 28th minute that actually led to like a really good counter. Okay. It leads basically to the same counter that we had where there was the contact in the box, and then you have Aviles who blew the shot. Luckily, they went to VR, right? Looked at it. They saw that the defender's right foot hit Messi's right foot, and they said, this is a penalty. Called it. Perfect. 30th minute, ready to score, ready to take the game over. And Messi decides to do fancy schmancy panenka, not even up the middle. It was like a little bit towards a little left of him to the right of the goalkeeper. And you're trying to pull this kind of stuff off against the best goalie in this league. Okay. And Jesse Revueltas is saying we don't have a Suarez replacement. We don't. But you guys asked for it. You guys wanted Allende. You guys wanted Obando. If you want Obando or Baltasar, head over to your local Baptist Health, South Florida or whatever, and check in at the front desk. They'll let you know what hospital room they're in. Just make sure you take that little picture and put the little sticker on your shirt so that way you don't get, escorted out of the building when you go visit them in the hospital. Allende, I mean, you can go visit him crying in your local locker room is what you could do. So after the VAR calls it and says there's a penalty, take the penalty. Messi does fancy schmancy and he blows it. Blocked, one of the easiest blocks ever seen. Okay. Kalina, one of the easiest blocks he's ever going to have in his life. So in the 34th minute, there's a counter. Okay. Quick counter, scored by Tagliamati. And I looked at this play over and over. Falcón was literally on an island. He was all by himself. So you had Busquets way too high. Avilés, I don't know if you guys see the pattern, but Avilés, every time he plays, he always gets got by players that bring him really high up the pitch, completely exposing the back. Literally like a 2 or 3 on 1 against Falcón. Like, what in the actual F is happening? So we get scored on. It's 1-0. And at that point, it's still a disaster because the passing was just erratic. It's still a disaster. Florida man, I'm sorry. This isn't going to be a happy podcast. We just lost 3-0, Florida man. And Danny's not here. So there's no voice of reason here, guys. No voice. Sorry, Florida man. So I might be watching boxing tonight. Hopefully we'll finish this off hopefully in the next 10-20 minutes, and then I'll go watch. But listen, guys, first half ends. How do you feel? Good or bad? Just in the chat, let me know. Good or bad? Because I don't feel good. Thanu is saying no Solana. I sent him the invite. And he hasn't come in yet. My name is Jiv. Says, so we're all Chris's therapists now? Yes. All 150 of you that are in here are all my therapists. And you all need to click like. It's literally free. Okay? Literally free 99. I made that up, by the way. So Trucko is saying horrible. Justin bad. Min bad. Reaper bad. Esteban saying so-so. Okay, I mean, I get that. We're only down 1, right? I mean, typically when you're down 1, you're not really feeling too awful. And look at that. I mean, you can't make it up. Xavier, shout out. You know what? Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. You can't make it up. Xavier Penny saying the next game's in 72 hours on a wacko Tuesday. Who's going to that game? Who's going to go to Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday if you don't live there? Cringe is saying bad. Christian with a K, phenomenal, saying Mosh is out. Mosh out. Okay, Rob, I'm going to go through your message. I didn't read it completely, but I want to have a healthy thing here. Rob is saying, Chris, I'm just as mad as you, but you're just all negative, bro. It's nasty. 0 positives, despite there is still a good chance Miami finishes top 4. the team's just trash on turf. It's too much data showing it. Okay. So, Rob, are we going to say that whenever we play on turf, that if we lose, it's just, well, we played on turf? You think the players are going back to the locker room, Rob, and you think that they're saying, geez, man, sucks to lose. The turf was just awful. You think that they're going back and they're blaming the turf? These professional football players that have been playing for many years of their life. Rob, have you seen the roster that this team has? Like, and I'm not just talking to Rob, to you specifically, Rob, but like just generally. Like, have you guys seen the roster we have? Like, this is not acceptable. Whether you play on turf, on carpet, like the players trying to win, but it's too much data. They're so different on turf. Yes, I understand there's a difference. I mentioned that in the beginning. Like the ball skips differently. I get that. Like I've played on turf. I've played on grass. I'm not like a great soccer player, but like I imagine if I am a great soccer player, I feel like I can manage playing on turf pretty good. I mean, it's hard in terms of instincts and stuff like that to move, to judge the bounce of the ball. But guys, it cannot be acceptable to keep blaming turf. Shout out to Rick A with a $4.99 super slam here.
Caca.
Says we needed to lock in this game so that we did not have to play on turf during the playoffs. This is a perfect point. If we have to go play against Charlotte or go play against fucking New York in a baseball stadium, like what if New England makes the playoffs and we got to play against New England? You're just going to say, well, chalk it up to turf. We didn't win the championship. That's why we sucked. And that's why we didn't win any trophies. And again, I'm not saying that turf doesn't play a part in the uncomfortability of playing, but you lost 3-0. Rob, or everybody, 3-0. Rob, the biggest issue, like I mentioned in the beginning, is unfortunately here in the United States, they don't have something agreed upon like in the Premier League and Ligue 1 where everyone has to have a grass pitch. That is the place we need to arrive to. I 100% agree with you. I'm not willing to come to the point of saying we lost a 3-0 game because of turf. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, I want to talk about something because we're about to get into the second half. Guys, this whole waiting to start the second half that Inter Miami is doing, I'm done with it. This whole thing of Charlotte comes out and now we got to wait for Inter Miami to come out and they're playing mind games. I'm done. I'm done with it. They need to cut that out immediately. You guys are not doing as good to be able to make people wait. And the mind tricks, I'm done with it. It's not cool anymore. It's not acceptable anymore. I'm done. Stop making me wait. You're not looking as good as you should, and you're making us wait. And then on top of that, you make us wait. And then Charlotte says, hey, thanks for making us wait, buddy. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and drop a goal on you 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, they scored a goal on us after making everyone wait. Charlotte drops a goal on us. Toglamati, another goal. Okay. I wrote in my notes. I want everybody to see these notes. What a fucking mess. What a fucking mess. Shout out to Thug Fung with a super slam here.
He's a caca.
Hey, a llorar al cuartito, amigos. A llorar al cuartito. Chao. Así es.
That's what we're doing here. Mosh fails to mix youth with vets like RDP, Messi, Suarez, Alba, Ustari, and it shows in big games. And turf, really, Inter Miami already played on turf in 2023 and 2024, so that excuse is weak. Laughing my ass off. That's a $10 well spent right there, Thuck Fung. And not only that, just to add salt to the wound, RDP is not a vet in terms of like what people look at him and say like he's one of the old guys. This is a guy that's supposed to be on par with some of the younger players. You know, one of the other things that I noticed is that when Allende played up top, you would think that you would have better pressure up top. Defense starts up top, right? That's where it starts. And Charlotte looked like they were in their bag the whole game. They looked like they were in their bag all game. Now, starting the second half, it looks like they alternated a couple things. Messi started playing the false nine. They moved Allende to the right. Again, in the 48th minute, we get scored on. Center back is caught sleeping. There's no protection behind Aviles. None. Okay. Falcon comes. He helps on, try to do it like a help side defense. And the ground cross comes through, and Toklamati blasts it in the back of the net. The dude abides. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, guys, since you're hanging out with me here. And I know it's there's no buffer here with Danny, so I know it's a little tough. This is going to be either a really good episode or one of the most awful ones. So that was bad. Soon after that, we do have a couple substitutions, right? After Segovia gets a yellow card. We get Noah Allen coming in, Yannick Bright going out. He didn't have a good game. 56th minute. And Cringe with another super slam here. Thank you, Cringe, with a $9.99 super slam.
He's a caca.
Hey, a llorar al cuartito, amigos. A llorar al cuartito. Chao. Así es.
And so he's dropping $9.99. Says we have to be realistic. The only bad teams we're going to play are DC United and Toronto FC. Seattle is a dub. Nashville, a dub. NYCFC, dub. New England, dub. We're getting 9 points max. Listen, I thought I was thinking really bad. Cringe, you're on one right now. You're on one right now. It's not a good feeling what we're having, guys. It's not a good feeling. Okay. So Bright out, Noah Allen in. Obviously, guys, I showed you how the bench looked. Like I showed you here. Look at the reserves we have here. We were short. We had additional spaces to add players, but because they're all in Baptist Health, South Florida, we couldn't bring anyone else with us. We couldn't. They couldn't come with us. Daniel Pinter signed with us 5 minutes before the game. Guys, this is wild. Dude, this is wild. So Daniel Pinter, Mr. Krabs is asking, Daniel Pinter, he plays for Inter Miami CF2, I believe. And apparently he had like 6 or 5 goals or something like that for them. And obviously we need strikers because we have Suarez, and Suarez is out for 3 games. And then Fafa got injured. Allende is a trash bag. And we have no other striker. So we had to sign him. Dude, Thanu says, bro just spawned. Literally. He literally spawned in the stadium. Spawned in the stadium. So just talking about more about the game. Allende, he's sitting back on the right wing, right? And he's just doing Allende things. He makes a run, doesn't do anything with it. There was a bad touch turnover by Allende. We're on the 65th, 66th minute. 72nd minute, there was something else that I kind of followed. Messi passed it to Allende, and he shoots it straight goal arms, which was a fantastic pass by Messi. A very good leading pass to Allende. Allende makes a great run, okay? Because you know Allende does. You know what he does? He makes runs. So he made a nice line-breaking run, okay? Running behind. I'm giving you all the vocabulary words you guys like, okay? And he still blew it. That's what you guys wanted. That's what you guys wanted. You guys wanted that. You guys wanted that. So, just to make matters worse, later on, another substitution, Weigand comes in for Ian Frey. And then at the 70th minute, when we get Daniel Pinter, who makes his MLS debut, he comes in for Telasco Segovia, who I thought played an okay game, I guess. Nick Smith saying we are currently in 8th place. Yeah. Guys, last episode, I told you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to be scratching and clawing in the last 2-3 spots. So, Daniel Pinter makes his MLS debut. Segovia played okay. Pep Biel makes his return since August 3rd when he got injured. And that's bringing on another great player. We're bringing on Daniel Pinter and Marcelo Weigand, and they're bringing on Pep Biel. Thomas Avila says, I'm due. I haven't collected. He says, give me 2 of these and give me 1 of these, and gets sent off. He didn't even go to the bench. He just went straight into the locker room. And after the second goal, third goal comes because of a penalty. So you have Sergio Busquets, who makes a sliding tackle in the box. This was on Wilfred Zaha. It didn't look clean. And basically called the penalty. And Zaha says, I'm going to let you get your Hattie. And Toglamadi says, bet. Puts the ball down and shoots it to his left. Ustadi guessed the right way, just wasn't low enough. And there's your third goal for this single player for Charlotte. And that's your game, guys. That's your game. 3-0. We get terrorized on defense. First, and another thing I want to mention, Javier Mascherano, why are you pushing the players so high? Our offense is nowhere near what it was last year. And you're pushing the players so high against a team. Literally, you guys were with me when Danny Brams previewed this game. Danny Brams said, we kill off of counters. You give us a turnover and we will turn that over into a nice fluffy pancake. And that's what he did. That's what they did. Mascherano is pushing all his players up, which offensively, they're not clicking. They're not clicking, guys. There's nothing clicking. Amanda's saying it right here. We're pushing high and getting 0 results out of it. And not only that, but we're pushing high, getting 0 results out of it. And we're horrible on the counter defense because Maxi Falcon and his hair cannot cover 30 yards east and west. We're leaving one person back there who is not the paciest center back to begin with. And then on top of that, if you don't leave him and you leave Aviles back there, Aviles eats off these. These he eats off of. Yellow cards is Aviles' diet. Okay? That's his diet. So there's the whole game. I just covered the whole game for you guys. We're going to get into some awards here, which I don't even want to make them awards. I want to make them into like referrals that you give, like in school, like you did so bad, you're gonna get a referral. So these aren't awards tonight, guys. But before we get to the awards, I'm gonna go ahead and bring on Solana. Solana, thank you for joining me tonight. How was your night?
I apologize for being a little late. My wife saw me walking down the stairs and gave me the look, and I was like, "Oof." So my night was rough from a soccer perspective, but it's getting better now that I can join you on here. And I was listening to the way you covered the game so well, so eloquently, and I just wanted to say what's up to the chat. But I'm heated, bro. I am heated. And wow, what an absolute disaster of a game for Inter Miami.
So I already kind of went through the whole game, right? I went through it piece by piece, covered some of the important key plays, covered the goals, covered some of the poor play. I guess just summarize, like, is there anything that, like, one or two things that stood out positively or negatively? Because I'm about to get into to handing out referrals right now.
I heard that you were taking Danny's place as the principal of the battered Herons, and
Yes.
And you're gonna start handing out demerits and referrals. So I'm all for that. I think you're right in the right direction, because I don't think anybody, including Messi, deserves a round of applause for today's game, because everybody from the goalie Ustari all the way up into Allende was absolutely brutal today. For me, it was for one of Frey's worst games, one of Bright's worst games. Tadeo Allende cannot finish again. I mean, I tweeted about that. What does this guy do during the week, Chris? What does this guy do Monday through Friday when the team is practicing?
Runs.
And is that what he does? Does he just
practices?
He just practices running?
I think he practices 40-yard sprints.
I mean, that's all he's got to do. He definitely doesn't practice finishing.
No, he doesn't practice collecting the ball. He doesn't practice kicking the ball. He literally practices 40-yard sprints. Forward, walks back. Sprints forwards, walk back.
I do like some of the comments that are saying that proof that this is not Suarez's. Oh man, that's
oh my gosh, Dennis, you hit it on the marker.
I mean, all I can think about is Forrest Gump running with that football down the field, and that's literally what Allende does. He runs in straight lines. He can either go north and south or east and west. The guy cannot go diagonally.
Rick A is saying here, I don't want to ever hear again the three words Ian, F, and Frey. I'm sorry, but I got the shirt on. Rick A.
So, what a bad game, though. What a bad game.
I know. No, listen, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. Everybody had a bad game. And it's unacceptable, this kind of bad game that everybody had, including Mascherano. I don't know if you saw, but when I put up the starting 11, I also put up what was on our bench. And look at this bench here. You have only one attacker, Daniel Pinter. And the thing is that we still had like three other slots to add bench players. And Obando's injured. Baltasar Rodriguez is injured. David Ruiz is injured. Fafa is injured. So you have, out of those four, three of the four are more or less attacking players. David Ruiz can attack, but he's more of like a center mid defensive player. So
yeah, by the way, I heard Baltasar got injured. He was just breathing the other day, and he felt some discomfort. So that's how he got injured. He was just breathing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And Obando just coughed outside, and he got injured. Thug Fung with a $5 super slam here.
A caca.
So he's saying,
caca.
You guys asked why I mentioned Messi ego. Half the team and coach are built to please him. When rivals play tough, he gets pissed and misses chances. I mean, that isn't far-fetched, but it doesn't help that just recently teams and players are starting to get an understanding on how to be able to mitigate Messi's presence.
Well, it
So
also doesn't help that Messi missed that penalty, right? I think if Messi makes that penalty, this game is completely different because Inter Miami's up 1-0. Charlotte probably doesn't get that goal on the next attacking play after the penalty. And basically the momentum just shifted entirely their way after Messi's penalty kick. So I partly blame this loss on Messi because as the captain, as the number 10, as the GOAT, I mean, he can't be missing those types of penalties where he just chips the ball like that instead of putting it away. I mean, we're in crunch time in the season now, Chris, and again, we cannot be giving these games away like that, and that's exactly what the team did today. They just gave the game away.
yeah, like I said earlier, it's unacceptable with this cast of players to be able to lose this kind of game at around this time of the year. Where you have the amount of contribution that you have from those players, it's just unacceptable. Let's get to some detentions here, right? So first, I mean, I guess we could talk about standouts. Is there anyone that stood out to you at the very least in this game?
The forward from Charlotte, the one that got the hat trick.
Taglamati, yeah. Taglamati. He definitely stood out. I mean, he's definitely trying to make sure that he holds on to that, position, especially since Ajaman isn't there. Now, other than that, and he got a 9.6 rating on FUTMob. Have you looked at FUTMob? And if you haven't, I don't want you to look at it because I'm going to play the game. Okay, good. So we're going to walk through this little by little here. So if there was anybody that stood out to me, and this I'm going to give my most sincere standout, and I just saw the rating, Maxi Falcon is a person that stood out to me because he did make 2 key stops, and he also had a great steal that advanced our offense forward. So Maxi Falcon, unfortunately, he was left on an island many times because the defense was just complete garbage, how it was lined up, how it was set up and prepared by the coaching staff. But Maxi Falcon to me is probably the person that stood out the most.
I don't doubt it. I mean, he definitely had some strong defensive plays there. One of them in the first half really comes to mind. But I'm reviewing the goals in my head, Chris. And if I'm not mistaken, on a couple of those goals, Aviles gets caught up in no man's land, and Maxi Falcon is then left with a 2-on-1, and he's left to choose: should I go after the guy with the ball? Should I stay in between the guy with the ball and the guy who's making the run, or should I stay with the guy who's making the run? And unfortunately, he chose wrong one of those times, and they scored a goal. But yeah, I agree with you. I think overall, when you look at top to bottom what this team did today, the only player that actually did something good was Maxi Falcon.
Yeah, I mean, the two of the 3 goals, obviously the third one was a penalty, but the first 2 were literally finding spaces behind our such high push on offense, where Falcon was just left again on an island because either Toto Aviles pushes up too high and starts defending in the midfield, or Sergio Busquets is nowhere to be found, and he's supposed to be the 5th center. He's supposed to be the 3rd center back coming back.
Well, and what really happens, Chris, is Busquets is the 3rd center back when we come out playing with the ball. But then he steps into the midfield. And so on transition, unfortunately, he doesn't get back in time. He doesn't have that speed. He doesn't have that endurance to go box to box. And so he does a great job of coming out with the ball and helping us play out from the back, getting in between the 2 center backs. But when it comes to defending, we just defend with a back line of 4, and that's just not good enough.
Well, but you know what the concerning thing about that is? The problem that bothers me about that is the simple fact that the other 2 center backs, it's like a mind fuck because they are, in a way, depending on knowing if someone is going to cover certain spaces or not. So when you don't have that person there covering that space and you're working, when you're playing sports, like everything is like second nature, right? So it's second nature when you're first attending to someone in front of you, second nature to think, well, I have somebody covering my right. I have somebody covering my left. But when you have someone like Busquets, who's more creative, moves up a little bit after just being so far back as a defender, if you don't have the consistency, I imagine that it affects you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Definitely, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect the defense. It's going to affect every aspect of the game. Interesting comment by One World saying exactly, we lost Hendo, gained Masche, complete collapse. Look, Hendo is not having the greatest year either. So let's not go out and start, making these kind of announcements or, these public service announcements, talking about how this team needs Hendo. Look, Henderson's not having a good year. Atlanta is eliminated from the playoffs. So that's something that we are going to have a chance to not say this year. I believe Inter Miami is going to make the playoffs without a problem. So let's not talk about Hendo.
Well, let's talk a little bit about before I get to the Que Pena, I'll ask you man of the match other than me. And man of the match other than Messi, in my opinion, is and this is literally like the first time that we're kind of doing this, is it's got to go to Taglamati. Like, he is man of the match other than Messi. I don't want to give it to any player on our team.
I mean, other than Maxi Falcon, who was the standout, I don't think you can give the man of the match other than Messi to anybody else, right? Taglamati scored the 3 goals. He was cooking in the final third. The only other person who I think could be within the conversation could be Wilfried Zaha, who I thought had a fantastic game for Charlotte today. A player who has had his ups and downs with Charlotte, but today he was fantastic. He gave an assist on one of the goals, and he was really, really good in the final third, finding space and putting in some shots for some other players. So look, unfortunately, for the first time ever in battered Herons history, we got to give the man of the match other than Messi to an opposing team's player.
Yes. Let's get to the detentions here. Que pena. So who, in your opinion, gets the singular que pena out of all of the dumpster trash that we had on the pitch today?
Who was the dumpster trash? I got to say Toto Aviles, man. It's either Toto Aviles or Tadeo Allende, one of those two, because how could you defend as badly as you defended and on top of it get yourself a red card when you have an opportunity to finish a game for the first time in I don't know how many months, and you go out and get yourself a red card? And then Tadeo Allende, I mean, for me, they're tied because Tadeo Allende was an absolute disaster. Again, one-on-one with the goalie. He has the entire net. He could have gone right. He could have gone left. And where does he go? Right down the middle. It really, really, really makes me upset. And again, to go back to that, I really need to understand what this guy practices during the week. Because if I'm Mascherano, and I tweeted it, if I'm Mascherano, this guy is just practicing finishing for the next month.
You went with Aviles and you peppered in a little bit of Allende. I'm going to go ahead and full-blown throw the adobo on him. Allende gets my que pena because Allende has all the opportunity this whole year to shine. This game without Luis Suarez to be able to shine. He had opportunities more than anyone else on this team and on the pitch for today in a black jersey, and he didn't capitalize on them. He played the whole game. And the fact that he started is another transition to where I give the que pena part 2 to Mascherano. Mascherano gets my second que pena because you structurally create the team where you leave Allende up top by himself, and you know that he is an only sprinter, and you don't give him enough space to sprint because you're raising the team so high and collecting it from the middle. So, in my opinion, Mascherano gets the second que pena of the match. And this is a good question by Cringe with a 199 Super Slam adding on to you.
He's a caca.
Says, does this team even practice? Shout out for the 199 Super Slam, Cringe.
I mean, I don't know. I'm banned from going to the practices and attending the practices. So I couldn't tell you what they do at practices. I know that we have some media folks that do attend the practices, but they never report on what actually goes on at practice. All they do is interview whoever the player or the coach who is available to be interviewed that day, but they never really talk about or ask any questions or press the coach on what it is they do tactically or or really anything during practice. And I would really, really love to understand what it is they do week in and week out, because since the beginning of the season, we haven't seen this team improve, not in one aspect of any part of the game. It's been the same BS every single game. Hope that one of the Fantastic Five before the Fantastic Four does something magical, and that's the way that we would win. But we haven't seen this team improve all year, and they're just getting worse. If you're asking me, they're just regressing.
Well, and this lends itself to a good question that could be asked. Rob Vank is asking, will Baltasar play next game? You can catch him at your local Baptist Health South Florida hospital at the very moment, because apparently he's injured, but that would be a good question to be asked. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
When you say that you give Mascherano your Que Pena award, if you don't mind putting up the graphic really quick of the substitutions. Unfortunately, I can't give Mascherano a Que Pena award because he basically put in whatever he had to work with, right? You mentioned it. There was no substitutes on offense because Obando, Baltasar, Suarez is suspended. So basically everybody was out. You had Daniel Pinter, who was brought up from Inter Miami too, sitting on the bench. Maybe they should have brought in Sebastian Saja's son as well, who's been killing it for Inter Miami too. But you're right. I mean, look, he didn't have anything to work with. I don't think that I could give Mascherano the Que Pena award because he didn't really have anything else to do today other than maybe try Ryan Saylor at forward. I mean, why not, right? Maybe try Ryan Saylor at forward and go for centers.
I feel like at this point, if Mascherano is still starting and proceeding to start Allende, I really don't care. And I spoke to Danny about this. He says I literally texted him. We were talking about the fact that he was a ghost and how I found it tough because I told him, I said, with a 6-player bench, there's really no room to start him. He says, I don't give a F. So I'm kind of with him. I'm tired of Allende. I don't want to see Allende.
Who would you have started in his place? The only other person I could think of is maybe you move Jordi Alba to play left wing, slot in Noah Allen to play left back, and you move Velasco Segovia over to the right. Maybe that's what you could have done.
Yes, or instead of bringing Daniel Pinter off the bench that you just signed 5 minutes ago, bring on Santi Morales, who's been itching to get off the bench and show his creativity.
Yeah, the problem is that Santi Morales doesn't play 9; he doesn't play forward. So I could understand, but maybe you could have started him in place of Allende and had Messi play a false 9, and have Segovia kind of play as the 10, and have Santi, or Santi Morales play on the left wing. You could have had something like that in the game, but again, I mean, I just find it tough to blame Mascherano for this loss. I'm not talking about the rest of the season, but for this particular loss, I mean, he just put the players that he had on the field. And look, a lot of folks have been talking negatively about Inter Miami Mascherano, that they don't bring up kids from the academy. Look, you got to see one of them play today, Daniel Pinter. He was able to get in there for 20, 25 minutes. Didn't play that well, didn't really do much, but he was at least out there and was able to get in. So I think that's a positive for those folks that are looking towards the academy as some sort of possible, future for this team.
Well, Rubita's asking the question, but Chris, who else did he have to play tonight? It's not necessarily about who else he had to play tonight. How could he have structured this team, which is something that the coaching staff and the coach Mascherano are in charge of? How could he have structured this team in a way where you don't have to have Allende starting? Because I feel like starting Allende at this point is a waste of time. There's other players that I'm assuming are chomping at the bit for minutes that you can be able to bring on that would bring more productivity than Allende at this very moment. I'm going to look at
one specific player who that could have been, not anymore, but Benjamin Kremaski. He could have been a perfect player to start over Tadeo Allende on the wing.
So let's talk about, before we reach our final thoughts, I'm going to ask you some thought mob questions. So who do you think on our starting 11 had the best thought mob score? And I'll bring up the starting 11 here.
I'm gonna be a little crazy, and I'm gonna say it was most likely Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba did not have the best score out of our starting 11. He actually was in the middle with a 6.7. One of the higher ones. The highest score on Thought Mob is Ian Frey with 6.9.
6.9 was the highest Inter Miami rated player.
He was the highest.
What was Messi?
So wait, hold on. So he was the highest Inter Miami rated player, and second place behind him is Falcon. So Falcon had a 6.8. Ian Frey had a 6.9. So now I ask you, who has the lowest out of the starting lineup?
Oh, it had to be Tadeo Allende.
Tadeo Allende had a 6.4, nowhere near the lowest. He was actually in the middle.
Wow,
I'll
really?
give you one more guess.
I mean, is it Messi? Is it Messi? I mean, I doubt it's Messi, but I maybe Ustari because he let 3 goals in.
Messi has a 5.8 rating. Okay, so he was not the lowest. And Ustadi had a 5.3 rating.
Oh, so
who was not the lowest.
Oh my
so
God.
The lowest is Toto Aviles with a 5.2. Just
that's because of the red card. It's because of the red card.
Because of the red
And you
card,
know what?
yes.
I didn't think Ustadi played that bad. I thought he had a couple of good saves, but the shots that went in were pretty much unsavable. I mean, they were great shots. So I don't really blame him for the loss either. But Ian Frey is the highest ranked player. I mean, now you got me questioning who's the person that's responsible for these Thought Mob ratings.
Well, I mean, whoever it is was a complete diabolical scorer for our team, because Messi had a 5.8, Bright 5.7. You had Ustadi 5.3, Aviles 5.2. Those were all the 5-pointers.
Nobody was in green for Inter Miami, which is weird. Usually there's a couple guys in green.
No one at all. The highest rated player out of the bench and the starters was Ian Frey with a 6.9 rating. And then Falcon with a 6.8. Final thoughts, Solana, before we head out.
I mean, this has been an absolute disaster of a week for Inter Miami after the Leagues Cup debacle, and now coming back to MLS and getting completely blown out 3-0 by one of the better teams in the MLS this year, a team who made history tonight, right? Charlotte becomes the first team to win 9 games in a row in MLS, unbeaten in their last 10. So my hats go off to them. But Inter Miami has to go back to the drawing board. They need to figure something out. They got to do something at practice this week. I mean, I continue to question, what do they do at practice? They do not continue to get better. They do not get better at all. So I just question what goes on at the Inter Miami Sports Complex Monday through Friday. And I really hope that our reporters who are there for the first 15 minutes of practice can ask some questions, because that's what I want to know.
And before I go ahead and get my final thoughts, I do want to bring up, because somebody mentioned, Soccer Daddy says Thought Mob is bullshit. We've gone to Thought Mob because everybody says SofaScore is bullshit, right? So I went ahead and just checked SofaScore right now. And on SofaScore, just so everybody is, I mean, we'll do the same thing. Solana, who do you think got the highest rating?
Well, I'm not going to say Frey because it's a different one. So I'm going to go Maxi Falcon this time.
Maxi Falcon got a 7.0 green, along with Jordi Alba, 7.0. They had the highest scores for starters.
You see, I wasn't off. I said Alba on the Thought Mob, and I was wrong, but I was right on the SofaScore. Okay. And who was the worst?
Who do you think was the worst?
I'm going to go Tadeo Allende. I have to continue going Tadeo Allende.
Tadeo Allende was a 6.2. He was not. Yannick Bright was a 6.1. with the lowest score as a starter.
Wow. And
But
he
now
didn't have a good
here's-
game either.
And here's the key though, Solana. Messi was ranked 6.6 in this game on SofaScore. Chat and Solana, do you guys think that it is a fair score to give Messi a 6.6?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, between the 6.6 and the 5.8 that FOTMob gave him, I think he's somewhere in between, right? I think a 6.3 would have been probably better. But look, I don't think that he was as low as a 5.8. I also don't think he was as high as a 6.6. So somewhere in the middle. I think we should come up with our own scores, Chris. What do you think?
I mean, we should, because
Battered Mob?
obviously,
Battered Mob?
batteredmob.org, I guess. We'll go ahead and work on that. My final thoughts are, guys, I told you guys last episode, I'd be surprised if we were in the top 5 of the Eastern Conference. I think we're going to be clawing it out in the bottom. This is scary times right now with the team that we have, with the players that we have. This kind of result is completely unacceptable after a 2+ week break, to have so many injuries and to have such little players on the bench, but still have the main players without Suarez. And on top of that, people wanted players like Obando or Allende to start. You guys got what you asked for. And if you guys are going to still sit there and say we don't need Luis Suarez, you guys are a little delusional. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. For those of you listening on audio, please slam a 5 stars on that platform, whatever it is, Napster, LimeWire, Apple, whatever. And guys, for those of you in the chat, thank you for supporting me for about an hour, a little bit less. And Solana coming in last minute, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this terrible freaking night. And chat, again, let everybody know to come through, swing by, like the show, subscribe, tell your friends. It's all much appreciated. You guys in the chat were a freaking blast, and I can't wait to do this again. We are going to be having a preview for the Tuesday game. It should be on Monday, so hang tight for that. Put the bell thing so you get notifications and stuff like that. And yeah, we kind of suck today. So until the next one, have a good one.
Hasta luego.